This YouTuber went from touring multi-million-dollar mansions to multi-million-dollar facilities, prison facilities. Because after months of goofing around in the courtroom, Eric Conover has pleaded guilty and is now facing 4 to 10 years in prison.
If anyone dares try to test my mental competence, I will eviscerate every single person with my intelligence right now. And that's not being egotistical.
Wow. Yeah, what a nice guy. And I mean, if you watched my last video, you probably remember how wild this was. Eric Conover, a guy who built an entire career off of touring multi-million-dollar properties on YouTube as a real estate agent, basically did the unthinkable. Like, how do you go from touring $100 million penthouses to allegedly trying to deliberately ram a cop with your car? But before we go any deeper, let me remind you who we're actually talking about today, because if you don't watch real estate YouTuber, you're probably lost. So this is Eric Conover. He's famous for doing some of the most outrageous home tours, like a $150 million penthouse in New York City, and touring the most expensive mansion in America, $500 million. And his whole shtick was essentially acting like an extremely polished, well-disciplined, successful man, which I guess he was for a long period of time. So when headlines broke that he led cops on a 2-stage chase, ran over a police officer, and then threatened a judge with his intelligence, some didn't seem right. Like, what was going on here? Because the dude went from mansion tours to a felony within a week.
Police paperwork says the pursuit started after Conover was going 55 in a 35. After 8 miles, Conover stopped and an officer attempted to de-escalate the situation, but Conover allegedly drove at him and hit him in the leg and then sped off for another 28 miles.
And now we're getting to the end of the saga, because he officially pleaded guilty to first-degree assault and reckless conduct. And out of everything he did, the deal boils down to 2 charges, and the sentence is 4 years minimum, 10 years maximum in state prison.
After months of court hearings, mental health evaluations, and viral sound bites, Conover has now pleaded guilty. His sentence, a minimum of 4 years and up to 10 in state prison.
So right now, we finally have a full detailed timeline from prosecutors. So police clock him doing 55 and 35. That's a speeding ticket. Go pay the fine, go home, whatever. Boo-hoo. He has the money to pay a fine. But for some reason, he thought he was playing GTA 5 roleplay and just decided to run away. And he doesn't just run for a little bit. No, he actually leads officers on a 8-mile chase. And then, eventually, they manage to corner him. So Officer Cameron Emmerich approaches the Jeep, trying to de-escalate the situation. Instead of rolling down the window like a normal person, though, Eric decides to floor it directly at the police officer. The officer then rolls onto the hood, gets carried on top of the hood, and then is slung 40 feet. And that's when the second police chase starts. And this second chase lasts 28 miles. So in total, he ran away from cops for 36 miles until they finally hit him with the spike strips. So that happened. They pull him out of the Jeep, and even after all that, Eric claims that he's the victim. He tells officers that they brutalized him and insisted that the real conspiracy is that cops are out to get him.
Mom, thank God, look at me.
Today in court, Conover was outspoken, claiming that he's a public figure because of his nearly 3 million subscribers on YouTube, and saying this was part of a, quote, police sting against him.
All right.
Okay, Eric.
All right.
They're here to help you.
Yeah, I'm sure the cop they scraped off the side of the road had plenty of time to orchestrate an entire plot to come for Eric. And this is essentially when the story went viral for the first time. Because before his arraignment even starts, Eric interrupts everything by saying, "I'm going to eviscerate everyone with my intelligence." And I guess he just said that while simultaneously proving that the only thing he's able to eviscerate is his own career. He also insists the entire situation is just one big sting operation against him. Then he claims that he's a public figure with 3 million subscribers, as if the judge is going to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir, you have 3 million subscribers? Well, that's your get out of jail free card. Go have fun." Essentially, everything about the arraignment screamed, hey, maybe this guy should be evaluated. And that's exactly what happened. So a closed-door competency hearing, that happened in March, and Eric is sent to a mental health facility for 30 days in April. By May, he's officially deemed competent. But then, months later, in September, his attorney files an insanity notice anyway. And this is where the new details paint a very different picture. His legal team said that he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and was in an acute manic episode during this police chase. They claimed that he genuinely believed that Officer Emmett was going to hurt him. But prosecutors pushed back on that because during a recorded jail phone call, Eric tells his parents that using a mental health crisis is his go-to for his defense, which is crazy because, again, how are you an extremely successful person and you don't think the jail phone calls are tapped. If anything, that could prove he's manic. Who knows? Either way, I know his lawyer is probably tired of him. Because let's be real, describing your insanity as a go-to defense is not really how you win over the judge. But whether that was all real or not, the judge still wanted him on a mental health plan while he was in custody. And his defense team leaned into it during the plea. So then Officer Emmett comes to court and reads a victim impact statement. And he's not happy with the plea deal. He says he didn't know how generous it was before walking in. He tells the court that this outcome does not reflect how serious the situation was, and that he still deals with lasting medical issues, and that having a police officer run down in the line of duty is not a minor incident. He says that he doesn't want revenge, he wants accountability. He wants the court to understand that what happened to him was not temporary. For the first time, Eric actually apologizes. He reads from a paper and says he regrets his actions and understands how difficult the situation was for everyone involved. But considering he was okay with using a mental health claim to get him out of this, I'm not so sure how believable that really is for a courtroom. But he then says he was in a manic episode, and he says that he will comply with any treatment the prison gives him. And this is probably why the plea came together the way it did. The state didn't want to risk a messy insanity trial. The defense didn't want to risk a decade-long sentence, and courts essentially wanted him on a structured mental health plan. And now, here we are. So, 4 to 10 years, that's the current window. 4 years is essentially the minimum with good behavior, mental health compliance, and programming. Most likely, he'll probably land in the 5 to 6 year range, but 10 years is the absolute maximum. And what's wild about this is the cop that was hit almost had his life taken away. In most states, that could easily carry 20 years. So the fact that he actually ended up with a single-digit plea is pretty crazy. They were very lenient on him. But no matter how you spin it, it's over. The dude's going to prison. The dude essentially made an entire career on explaining to people how to level up their career, and obviously he sold the outcome of what happens when you finally level up your career. He filmed so many videos about discipline, sobriety, and building a legacy, and then he lost everything because he couldn't just stop and pay for a speeding ticket. It's sad. This is a really sad situation for everyone involved. But the big question that I think everyone had was, why did he run? Because that just logically does not make sense. So here's what we know. Just a few days before this whole thing happened, Eric was charged with the DUI and possession. He was released, meaning they trusted him to show up to court, so he's already facing a fresh set of charges when this traffic stop happens. And for years, Eric talked about being alcohol-free. He filmed long videos about his sobriety journey. Now, obviously, everything here is speculation, but the timing just does not look good, because he uploaded and edited those sobriety videos right around the same time he got hit with that DUI charge. So maybe it was really a manic episode, or maybe he was running away from a second DUI charge since he built his brand off of sobriety. And sobriety wasn't only his brand as well, it was also, I guess, a part of his identity.
1,444 days sober from alcohol today. Welcome to episode number 1 of my podcast.
And now, instead of uploading a video titled Touring a $250 million Mansion in Malibu, he's going to be uploading nothing, because that's what happens when you launch a cop off of your Jeep. But if anything else comes out of this, like if he tries to eviscerate the parole board with his intelligence, I'll probably cover it. But for now, thank you guys for dealing with my very temporary setup, because I am currently in the Philippines. The things I do for content, I don't know. It'll make sense soon. Maybe. It probably won't even make sense. But other than that, subscribe if you're new, drop a like if you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.